Okay, before we get into this, I just had a massive brain blast when I was editing the last video together. It suddenly occurred to me that Glissade's reaction to, like, ADAGE, I think I had a son by that name. Suddenly it occurred to me that Glissade probably has quite a number of children that he fathered after Priscilla. And I'm wondering if he was trying to create a sibling savior for Priscilla, but none of those other children worked out, including ADAGE. So I'm like, maybe he was trying to, like, whatever disease she had, maybe it was like, it's obviously some kind of blood-based disease, I'm assuming, considering his interest in Cyrus. I wonder if he had fathered all these kids, and then none of them worked, and he, like, kept trying while she was alive, but as soon as she died, that was kind of the end of it. And so he had to turn his attentions to a different solution, which he could only accomplish by performing experiments on criminals, which is why he volunteered to go down to the Sanctuary District. That's my theory, anyway. That ADAGE probably has a few siblings he's not aware of. But anyway, it just suddenly occurred to me, like, wait, what if he was trying to create a sibling savior? Okay, let's jump into the craziness from the cliffhanger I left you all on last time, including myself. Glissade led me towards the medical room.
Thank you very much for dining with me the other day.
I was honored to. Thank you for inviting me. I sat down and he handed me a cup. I held it in both hands. Do not drink that. There was hot water inside, almost hot enough to scald me. I sipped it. What did I just say? I hadn't eaten such good food in a long time. It made me very happy. That made Glissade smile. Another thing I was wondering is if Cyrus looks like Priscilla at all. I don't know if that was a connection that ADAGE made when he ran out of the house, like, wait a minute. She kind of looks like her a little bit. Not sure. We'll see if that's also true or not.
It's already been a week since then, hasn't it? I remember it so vividly it could be yesterday. Time passes quickly. How has life treated you since then? Are you doing well?
Well, a lot had changed for me personally, but I certainly couldn't complain about my health. And I have no idea what's going to happen now.
That's good. I'm glad we have a chance to talk again. I'm quite fond of you.
Yeah, I know. You weren't before you even found out about the blood, which is why I'm suspicious she kind of reminds you of your daughter in some way. Of me, huh? But not of ADAGE. I wanted to know why he didn't acknowledge his son, but I had to choose my words carefully. He probably won't answer a direct question. Your daughter, Priscilla, she must be quite sickly. When ADAGE had said she was dead, it had made Glissade angry. I watched him, wondering whether this had also made him angry.
Oh. Yes. It seems that her body hurts so much that all she does is sleep.
Like, almost like she's dead. I see. It seemed that he couldn't accept her death. He ignored the son that lived, devoting all his attention to the departed. How did this happen, I wonder? Perhaps Glissade was right, and Priscilla was still alive. What reason would ADAGE have to lie to me? ADAGE and Glissade were directly contradicting one another. One of them had to be right, and the other had to be wrong. Well, I'm definitely voting Team ADAGE all the way. Whom should I trust?
It was my misjudgment. Priscilla's ill health is the result of my misjudgment.
Okay.
It happened 10 years earlier.
Really? We're going to have this from Glissade's point of view. Okay. Interesting. I like when we get the point of view of the bad guys, too. This game, it has some, I mean, it's got some dark subject matter, and it's depressing a lot of the time. But there are things about it I really like, and this is one of them.
I lost someone again. Yet again, I only gain understanding after I lose them. It had been a cold night, but my heart had been even colder. I was holding a brand new death certificate. Why didn't I understand? I'm a doctor. My job is saving their lives. I'm not worthy of being called a doctor if I can't do that. The death had been my wife's. She had died of heart disease.
Which wife?
I'd neglected my family, so much so that I'd had no idea that she was ill. By the time I understood, she was dead, and all I had left was paper. To prevent the spread of infectious diseases, the authorities immediately disposed of corpses without returning them to the family. They disappeared, and a printed death certificate took their place. I felt frustrated.
That's interesting. Because it seemed, according to what Cyrus said earlier, that they had graveyards up in the heights. Is that not true, or did they just, like, bury them right away?
Could I have treated her if I had known? Would she still be alive? I probably could have, I thought. Everyone dies eventually, but it hadn't yet been her time. I could have saved her. I'm a failure as a doctor. This is my fault, and my fault alone. I was ashamed of my failure and stopped practicing. I was able to obtain an indefinite leave. I spent my time as if I was dead myself. Then one day I received a notice from the temple that I was to be transferred to an important population control facility.
Where are we now? Is this your secret lab?
Trash arrived at the facility every day. Human trash. The babies we received had been deemed inconvenient by society.
What? Yeah, the recessive thing. I was like, ADAGE didn't have the right whatever for his sister, but maybe there's actually more to it than that. There's just a whole group of the population that they call recessive? What does that mean? This game.
We called them recessive. The name had stuck because they were unnecessary existences, unable to contribute to society. The facility disposed of the trash of the recessive beings. It was an administrative decision, made without consideration for its subjects. At first I had objections, but they quickly faded. I came to see the lives they sent us as objects and numbers. But I developed a perspective different to that of those around me. I'm a doctor. Creating life is my job. If the trash is to be disposed of anyway, perhaps I can recycle it. That was the day my research began, patching together humans from the parts of those that arrived. Needless to say, it all failed. But I didn't give up, and my supplies were limitless. I buried myself into my research, determined to create life and outweigh my failure. And eventually, Priscilla was born.
So she's not even your blood, like, not even your, I don't know what the words I'm looking for. I'm like, blood daughter? You know what I mean. Like, she's not related by blood to you. You made her from a bunch of babies? And now you're trying to rebuild her again? Okay, so this all started with the death of his wife. And then, oh, good grief. Don't get me back, man. The backstory. So what about, so is ADAGE, did you put more emphasis on this creation you made instead of this son that's actually related to you? Because that's messed up. Ugh. Alright, let's keep going.
She grew up and developed a sense of self. Because she'd only ever lived inside the facility, she was curious about the world outside. I took Priscilla home. As we walked back to the facility, she smiled at me.
Thank you, Dad. I didn't know I had more family than you. Adage, my little brother.
Of course, Adage had been born first, but I had introduced her as his big sister.
Adage had been born. So who did you get together with in the meantime? Or is this the child from your first wife? Ugh, man, I am so confused. Like, did you have Adage with the wife that died? And if so, why did Adage not become your world instead of this crazy Franken monster you made?
She was the superior existence. The fruit of love rather than duty.
Okay. So you didn't love your wife? You were just... Okay. You married your wife out of duty because everyone's got arranged marriages in the Heights. But you were... It was more like you couldn't take the blow to the fact that you're a doctor and you couldn't see your own wife was dying until it was too late. So it was more a selfish thing than the fact that you cared about her. Oh, sheesh, this guy...
Adage had accepted it, and so had she.
I want to meet him again. Can I see him again?
Oh, of course.
Great. He's my family. I want to spend time with him. Maybe one day we can all live together, at home, here in the city.
Yes. I'll see what I can do if that's what you want.
And then they came and killed her.
That conversation outside, in the city, was the last one I had with Priscilla. She had grown up in a completely sterile environment, and her immune system was unable to cope with the city outside. Her body soon failed.
Well, at least there's nothing sterile about the Sanctuary District. Her body failed? What does that mean? Isn't he admitting that she died? All this was just... What's going on? I'm so confused.
Most of Priscilla's physical body died, but her heart and her brain are still usable. But all that arrived at the facility in the Heights were babies. I came here to the depths to obtain better parts.
Okay. That does check out.
Between the research and collecting the parts I need, I was truly lucky to have met you.
Me?
Yes. You. Do you remember when I treated you on your mission? When you were a police officer? You talked to me about your blood and how repeated blood transfusions might kill you. I analyzed your blood afterwards, and you were right. Your blood is unusual. Much more unusual than you think.
I knew there was more to it than that. Glissade was still all smiles, but an edge in his words scared me. I wanted to get up and flee, but my body didn't move. Oh, there goes the eyes.
Your blood is the fabled golden blood. It carries no antigens and can be transfused into anyone without rejection. It's wonderful blood. I needed your blood so badly. So I talked to an acquaintance in the Heights and arranged for you to be transferred here.
You were the one behind it all! Oh my god, I never would have got that. Wow. So you have an accomplice up top, probably Fitzgerald. And they sent you down here so that this guy... So this has been going on the entire time. What did you do when she left for Libralitas the other time? You're just like, I can't find her. Gosh, darn it all. Arranged?
I told them that as long as you were alive, I didn't care how you got here. I didn't know they'd kill your parents. Sorry.
Okay. So that part wasn't your idea. I believe you because you're a psychopath and probably wouldn't feel remorse about that if it was your fault. You probably would have just come right out and say it. So... I'm trying to remember. Cyrus's dad was a political figure. I can't remember if he was in opposition to Fitzgerald or not. What? Are you? Is that why my parents were killed? For your silly reasons, Glissade?
Well, you might say so.
The mastermind is right here, but I will not forgive you. How dare you?
But, you know, the reason they were killed is ultimately you.
Oh, shut up. What?
Think about it. You provoked a fight with Soxon, and he wounded you. That brought you to me. If you hadn't chosen to do that, I would never have learned about your blood, and wouldn't have demanded that you be sent here.
That... you... no. You are not putting the guilt on my girl. That is dumb. That is stupid, and you are stupid. Don't play these mind games with my lady.
It was you, and your choices that killed your parents.
No. I didn't kill them.
You can deny it all you want. I was the same when my wife died. But eventually, you will also realize that the fault lies squarely with you. It would be better to admit it sooner rather than later.
I wanted to get up and beat him to a pulp. Understandable. And perhaps that wasn't even going to be enough to sate my rage. I was furious. But in spite of my fury, my body didn't move. Because I told you not to drink the scalding poison water, woman! Why can't I move?
Because the drug stops you from that.
What?
It works similar to a local anesthetic. You can talk, but you have no control of your arms and legs.
Glissade took the cup sitting on the table and shook it.
It looks like you were gracious enough to drink all of it. Thank you. With your blood, I can revive Priscilla. I'm sure of it. Thank you so much.
Glissade was reaching for me to touch my cheek when the door was slammed open.
Oh, you were late.
Finn walked in, together with... ADAGE. I brought him here alive. Now release Cyrus.
Thank you very much. Alas...
Did you just shoot Finn? Wow! What a dick move! Oh my god. Cyrus, I am so sorry. Finn, I salute you. Finn! Glissade pulled a pistol out of a drawer and shot Finn through the chest. Why?
He is the last part that I need. Thank you for everything, Finn.
Finn! Stop it! Leave Finn alone! Don't kill him. Oh, dang. I thought maybe he would leave him there to bleed out like he was too overconfident, and then Finn would come in swinging for one last hurrah. But I think he'd be dead now. The second shot hit his forehead. Finn was dead immediately. Well, we certainly escalated in this episode, didn't we?
Oh no!
He was a great hound, but his attachment to you was no longer healthy. This was destined to happen one way or another.
Glissade smiled and aimed the gun at ADAGE.
Father. We were talking about the past earlier, and I was thinking about you as well. ADAGE, you came here from the heights for me, right? So brave. I pity you. I will let you aid my quest, then. Give me your crimson eyes, which so resemble Priscilla's.
Why don't you take out your own eyes, sir?
I refuse. What? I said I refuse. It's true that I came to the Sanctuary District in pursuit of you. I became a doctor so it would be easier to find you. But I have a proposal.
I kill you now, I take my wife, and we get out of here. How about that? Now I'm wondering if there's a ending where ADAGE is just like so defeated by his dad. He's just like, okay, yeah, you can take my eyes. Glissade looked at him curiously. ADAGE answered his look confidently.
Yes, I'm a doctor. Maybe not quite as skilled as you, but doctors are rare in the Sanctuary District. My skills should be useful. Let me be your right hand. Don't take my eyes from me. It's true that I'm the only doctor with the hounds. Sometimes there is more work than I can handle. Besides, I already have crimson eyes. I wanted to give her fresh eyes, but alright. I will let you live. Thank you. But don't call me father. I have no intention of admitting that you're my family. Alright, Glissade. Yes, that works.
His right hand? ADAGE had come to the Sanctuary District in pursuit of his father. Glissade's research is insane. Are you going to support it? Will you really be happy with that, ADAGE?
Yes, I will. This is why I am still alive, I think.
You can't be serious.
Now, on to you. I will need all your blood now. Don't worry, I will put you to sleep first.
Glissade took a long tube from the wall. He affixed a needle to it and took my arm.
It will only hurt a little. I'm sure the needle hurts much less than the injuries you've sustained.
He was searching for a vein with his finger. I can't move. I can't flee, but I have to. I was perfectly alert, but I couldn't move a finger.
Wait, Glissade. Let's keep her alive. Oh? Why? Blood will deteriorate. We might be able to conserve it, but if we keep her alive, it will be fresh. Oh, I see. Yes, that makes sense. As it happens, we have jail cells here.
This is true. I was wondering about that earlier with the cutting off of the limbs. I'm like, wouldn't it have made more sense to capture all these people that you wanted body parts from and just keep them close and nearby instead of, like, sticking their bits into formaldehyde or whatever to preserve them?
You can wait for us there, for the day we need your blood.
Glissade put the tube back on the table and smiled at me.
We will come to take it just before we wake up Priscilla. What a beautiful day that shall be.
Yeah, glorious. Then they threw me into a tiny cell. I was still conscious enough to recognize it as one I'd been in before. The hounds in their solitary confinement again. Finn had become one of the hounds. Whenever he'd come to pick me up at home, he had smiled. And the last time we met was inside Glissade's medical room. Glissade had killed him with 2 shots. We never even had a chance to talk. And all I could do was watch. Now that I look back on it all, Glissade was behaving suspiciously. Why had I trusted him? Not been more suspicious. I was upset at myself.
Food. Eat it. You look healthy. Good.
No. Does this look good to you? I swatted the food he had brought me out of his hand. It tumbled over the floor. Well, at least you can move again.
I will bring a replacement.
I don't need it.
Yes, you do. It's my duty to keep you alive.
Is this what you wanted to do, ADAGE? Your father is killing innocent people to play at being the master of life. Does it mean nothing to you that you're helping him? Wasn't it your job to save people's lives?
Nobody in the Sanctuary District is innocent. The only reason people end up here is through some kind of crime. It doesn't matter if you were born here. The children of criminals share their crime.
I'm here because of your father.
Because of my father?
Yes. Glissade had my parents killed so I would be sent here. He wanted my blood. Some kind of crime sends people here, huh? Your father had me blamed for it! If that still means nothing to you, we're done. You're apparently no longer the man I knew. You've changed.
I haven't. I am who I am.
No, you have. You used to save the weak. You wouldn't have said any of those things.
Doctors are all hypocrites.
Hypocrites?
Yes. I saved some people and I killed others. I am here because I killed. I had a patient with a terminal illness. He wanted to die because the pain was too much for him, so I slaughtered him.
What?
I had to make sure that I would be sent here, and that they wouldn't try to show mercy, so I made a real mess of it. In the end, he had to suffer quite a lot. I never had any doubts about what I did. Maybe he had something else in mind, but he got his wish.
So that's how you got here. I mean, I believe that ADAGE has a plan to get our girl out of here. And that he's playing his dad. I think he's made the choice that Cyrus is more important than Glissade. I don't know what his plan is, but I assume he's got a plan. I also assume the story he just told us is true. So I wouldn't accuse him of lying. He might be telling it in a harsher way than is needed, but I believe when he tells us that. I'm not gonna say like father, like son, when we know he's got massive father issues. So I guess all I can say is, that's immoral, I guess. I don't like any of these choices, but I think by the method of... Man, my brain is not working. The process of elimination. That's the one. Did it. Alright. Where are we? Sir, have you looked at your status bar? We are full. I don't even know if I got full with these two. I am full with you. Going about it like that. It's immoral.
Yes, but it was also the right way to do it. I got sent here like I wanted, and he died like he wanted. He and I are the only ones able to judge this. That's what doctors do. We tell our patients that it's for their own good, but in the end we just play with their lives in a way that suits us. Hypocrites.
ADAGE.
I didn't think it would turn into this when I hired you. Sorry.
Sorry? You can still correct the situation!
Yeah. But I won't.
Right. I'm disappointed, ADAGE. I trusted him all this time. I wanted to trust ADAGE. Oh... I mean, understandable, but my heart. I hate you. Okay, give me your perspective, sir. Gosh darn, my poor heart can't take this. Close that.
When I returned from her isolation cell, Glissade wasn't in the medical room. Good. I didn't want him to see me in doubt.
I hate you.
I couldn't forget Cyrus's words or the anger in her eyes. Why am I surprised? It's only natural. What I did would make anyone hate me. I did it so she would hate me, and it worked. So why am I hesitating? I'm an idiot. There was a part of me that couldn't accept what was happening. A part of me was outraged that I was doing something that couldn't be undone. I'm doing this for her. I have to do this if I want her to survive. I have to obey Glissade if I don't want him to suspect something. Remember why you're here. Remember why you killed that man. I had come to the depths to search for Glissade. Yes. I'm so close. So close. I can almost... Oh, very good. The door opened and Glissade appeared. He was carrying something oblong, about 1 meter in length and wrapped in cloth. Glissade. What's the luggage? How rude! This isn't luggage! He was in high spirits as he put it down on the medical table and began to untie the strings and unwrap the cloth. Glissade was careful and prudent as he worked. This is...
Huh. Interesting.
My beloved Priscilla. But... you can't be serious. What Glissade had unpacked and what he called Priscilla was shocking to behold. The bones were cobbled together, skin sewn at countless cuts. She was like a doll. Or a monster. Isn't she adorable? She looks just like she did back then. Does she? That can't be. Did she look like this back then as well? I hid my shock and tried to remember. Priscilla was wearing formal clothes that covered everything. I didn't think about it back then, but he must have been hiding the needlework. Ugh! The stench. Well, of course. It's a miracle that she hasn't rotted away. I might have to throw up. It made me sick. I wanted to get away and throw up. But I couldn't afford to hurt Glissade's feelings. He was not going to give me a second chance. I have to disinfect and soak the cloth in regular intervals. We can't leave her exposed to the air for long. Let's get started. Will you help me? Of course. He handed me a moist towel and I began to wipe her down. He had drained the blood from her and her body was very light. But below the skin, I could feel human flesh and the touch made me sick. Are we going to take her blood? Cyrus's blood? And will that make this thing move? I had no experience with reviving the dead. It seemed impossible to me. Hey, what if it doesn't work? What if we put her blood in here and she doesn't wake up? Then I have to continue my research. I'm alive for her and for her only. I gather parts, put them together, and if it doesn't work, I try other parts. I will do anything. And one day it will work, and she will wake up.
Good. Yeah, sure. Okay. Mm-hmm.